The vibe inside the Superdome is shifting, and it feels like the front office is finally ready to get aggressive. We have spent years watching this offense search for that missing piece to complement our top star, and right now, a massive battle is brewing for those final roster spots. One specific veteran, who arrived via trade with huge expectations, is suddenly facing a make-or-break summer. If you want the most accurate Saints Insider news, make sure you are subscribed to the channel right now for every single update. Jalen Polk is the name everyone is talking about, but the path to a roster spot in New Orleans is getting crowded. When the Saints traded a 6th-round pick to the New England Patriots for him, many fans expected an immediate impact. However, a shoulder injury kept him off the field for the entire 2025 season, leaving us with more questions than answers. Now, as we look toward training camp, he has to prove those reliable hands we heard about are ready for the big stage. While Chris Olave remains the undisputed leader of this group, the depth behind him is being completely rebuilt. We saw what this offense looks like when Chris Olave has a stable quarterback situation, putting up numbers that would rank him among the top 3 receivers in the entire league. He is a lock, and so is Devon Villay. But after that, the competition is wide open. The front office didn't stop with the trade for Jalen Polk. They went out and drafted Jordan Tyson, who many experts believe was the best pure wideout in the class. Then they added Bryce Lance in the 4th round, bringing incredible speed and size to the room. Even Barrion Brown, the track star from LSU, was added in the 6th round to bolster the return game. This influx of young talent means guys like Trey Palmer are also fighting for their professional lives. Palmer is a Louisiana native with blazing speed who showed flashes in Tampa Bay before coming home to the Saints. He can return punts and kicks, which gives him a huge edge, but he is coming off a hamstring injury that ended his last season. Then you have Bub Means, a 5th-round pick from 2024, who missed all of last year with an ankle issue. We also have to consider Mason Tipton and Kevin Austin, who have both seen time on the active roster, but now find themselves buried under this mountain of new arrivals. The team already sent a message by cutting Samori Toure, and more cuts are coming. This isn't just a simple training camp battle. It is a total overhaul of the position group. The coaching staff is looking for a very specific type of consistency that has been missing from the secondary targets lately. When you look at the physical profile of the former Patriot, he doesn't jump off the page with elite speed, running a modest 4.52 in the 40, but speed isn't everything in this system. What the Saints desperately need is a receiver who can win those contested catches on 3rd down and become a reliable safety valve. The front office only gave up a late-round pick to get him, so they aren't tied to him financially or through heavy draft capital. This creates a high-pressure environment where every single practice rep counts. If he can demonstrate that those legendary hands are back to full strength after his shoulder surgery, he provides a different dimension than the deep threats like Bryce Lance or the speedsters like Trey Palmer. The locker room knows that the margin for error is razor thin this year. We have seen how stagnant this offense gets when the primary options are taken away, and that is why this competition is so vital. This young player has only appeared in 15 NFL games so far, which is a tiny sample size for a guy the fans are already treating like a savior. He has caught only 12 passes in his professional career, yet the buzz around him in New Orleans is deafening. It reminds me of past camp favorites who had the talent but couldn't stay healthy long enough to prove it on the field. The team is clearly betting on his potential rather than his past production. By bringing in so many different archetypes, from the return specialists to the big-bodied receivers, the Saints are essentially holding an open audition. They want to see who survives the heat of August. This creates a scenario that is fascinating to watch. If the former first-rounders and the veteran additions can mesh, this could be the most dangerous receiving core we have seen in New Orleans in a decade. But if the injuries continue to pile up for these young players, we could be looking at another season of frustration and missed opportunities for the entire offense. The reality of the situation is that this competition will decide if the Saints can actually win more games this season. In the past, we saw the offense fall apart because if the defense stopped our primary star, nobody else was there to make a play. By bringing in all this new talent, the team is trying to make sure that never happens again. If guys like the former Washington standout can step up, it takes the pressure off the rest of the roster and makes every play easier. It means the quarterback won't have to force dangerous throws into double coverage. It means the running game will have more space because the defense has to respect the pass. If this works, it could be the difference between making the playoffs and another long January at home. We are looking at a high-risk, high-reward strategy here. The risk is that they are relying on a lot of players who have spent more time in the training room than on the grass. If the injuries that sidelined these players last year return, the depth chart will crumble quickly. On the other hand, the reward is a transformed offense that can score from anywhere on the field. Fans want to see that explosive New Orleans style back in action. They want to see the nation cheering for big plays and long touchdowns every Sunday. This isn't just about roster flexibility, it's about the soul of the team. A strong wide receiver group gives the whole building confidence. It changes the way the coaches call the plays and the way the defense has to prepare. This overhaul shows that the organization is tired of being average. They are swinging for the fences because they know the window for success won't stay open forever. Every catch in training camp and every block on special teams is a step toward that goal. For the older fans who remember the greatest days of this franchise, this feels like a return to that aggressive mindset. We aren't just filling spots. We are looking for difference makers who help us win. Imagine a world where the trade for the former Patriot pays off and he becomes the perfect chain mover for this offense. In that best-case scenario, he becomes the reliable target who keeps drives alive while the speedsters take the top off the defense. The Saints suddenly have an offense that is impossible to guard because they have too many weapons to track. This would lead to more points, more wins, and a very happy fan base in Louisiana. It would prove that the front office was right to take a chance on a player with a history of injuries. But there is a dark side to this story that we have to consider. In the worst-case scenario, the shoulder issues persist, and the speed isn't enough to separate from NFL cornerbacks. If the young players like Jordan Tyson or Bryce Lance struggle to learn the playbook, the team will be left with a group of receivers who can't stay on the field or make plays when it matters. This would lead to another season of 3-and-outs and frustrated fans watching a stagnant offense. We have seen this story before in New Orleans, and nobody wants to go through it again. The tension in the building is real because everyone knows their job is on the line. The coaches are under pressure to produce results, and the players are fighting for their careers. Every drop pass in practice feels like a step toward being cut. Every highlight reel catch feels like a golden ticket to the final roster. The contrast between these two paths is what makes this summer so important for the future of the Saints. We are watching a group of talented young men try to overcome their past struggles to secure a future in the black and gold. The heat of the New Orleans sun will test their resolve and their bodies. Only the strongest and most reliable will remain when the final cuts are made in September. The drama is building every single day, and the stakes are as high as they have ever been for this franchise. The wide receiver room in New Orleans is undergoing a transformation that we haven't seen in a very long time. The team is betting on a mix of trade acquisitions, high-upside draft picks, and local speedsters to revitalize an offense that desperately needs a spark. While the focus is often on the stars, it is the battle for these final spots that will truly define the depth and resilience of the Saints this year. The front office has made their moves, and now it is up to the players to prove they belong on the field. Be honest with me, Who Dat Nation. Do you think relying on a player who missed all of last year is too big of a risk for our offense? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you trust the young talent we brought in, or should we have looked for more established veterans? If you love the Saints and want to stay updated on every roster move and insider secret, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on those notifications so you never miss a breaking update. Give this video a like if you believe in this team.